What's up everybody, welcome to Money Management channel. My name is Andrei and today I'm gonna be doing an update on First Republic Bank.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up.
And in today's video, first of all, I will show you where we are on a price chart and how we caught this movement to the downside. That probably saved you about 38% of your capital, or it could bring you about 38% of potential profits, depending on your position. Then I will continue with the fundamental news and I will show you why we have this movement to the downside. And at the end of this video, I will share my thoughts and my technical analysis. And I will show you even more lucrative and less risky trades for the upcoming weeks. So let's start with the price chart. I made my previous video yesterday when this asset was from 19.5 to about $20 mark. And I've told you that it formed this bearish pattern. It is a descending triangle. As you can see, I connected these tops and right here we had a solid bottom, and this triangle usually breaks to the downside. On top of that, we had a hidden bearish divergence. It is the pattern when you can see higher highs on the RSI with the lower highs on the price action. And this pattern implies the trend continuation. And this means we had much more chances to go lower, to break this range of support and to hit some lower targets. And my assumption was that we might hit even $10 mark. But right now we stopped at about $12.3 mark, and I have to say that this small blip is not so small, because it is a huge movement to the downside. From its previous point, it lost, as I already mentioned, about 40% of its value to its lowest point, and definitely it is a harsh movement to the downside, despite a decent news that I disclosed yesterday. So let's continue with the fundamental news and let me show you why this asset is so popular and why it is so volatile. First of all, let me show you that on stocktweets.com website, this ticker symbol is on the first place on the most active section and on the first place on watcher section. Let me show you, yes, we have this ticker symbol even in the trending section on the second place. This means this asset is extremely popular among StockTweets community, and this means it implies a huge volatility for upcoming days. On top of that, First Republic Bank is on the first place on apewisdom.io, and this website tracks the Wall Street Bets activity on different assets, and this increase in mentions for 344% during the last 24 hours is extremely high. As you can see, we have consistently increasing interest in this trend, and because of this we might see even more volatility for upcoming sessions. So what was the reason of its movement? Let me show you this one first of all. We are on the New York Times, and this article was published just yesterday, and it says, "Fate of First Republic hangs in balance as shares plummet again. A $30 billion cash infusion and a frantic effort to sell a stake in the bank have done little to calm investors." And I will put the link on this article in the description below. The main idea of this article is that people are still withdrawing their money from deposits from First Republic Bank, and this leads to a liquidity crisis. Let me show you somewhere here. Oh no, it's on the other article. Let me show you this. First Republic's shares crashed more than 46% after downgraded credit rating. The US bank may need to raise more funds despite a $30 billion rescue last week. Let me quote you right here that as the growing banking crisis spread into a new week, the credit rating of the regional bank was downgraded deeper into junk status by S&P Global. The agency said that the bank, which caters to wealthy clients, probably faced high liquidity stress with substantial outflows. And let me show you somewhere here that they already lost about $70 billion of their deposits since SVB collapsed 10 days ago. And definitely $30 billion is not enough to cover all their deposits, to cover their liquidity crisis. And I have to say that right now we are in quite interesting situation. Major banks added $30 billion in cash to save this bank, but this money will be withdrawn by their customers, and definitely they will not store it in their drawings. They will store it in other banks, and these banks will be, in my opinion, top 10 or top 8 or even top 4 US banks. And this means this money was withdrawn from, first of all, major banks as the help to FRC bank, but then there was withdrawn again, and they will be deposited into the major banks. So, quite interesting situation when one bank loses its momentum without any positive outcome, but other major banks, major federal banks, even improving their position on the market. So it is quite weird, but it is what it is. And guys, what will be the next potential catalyst for the price of FRC and other banks in this sector? On Wednesday, we will see the Fed interest rate decision on 7 p.m. and it is a UTC +1. It is my time. I live in Europe right now. And definitely, depending on the interest rates hike, we might see quite harsh price action. Definitely, if the interest rate will be increased by 0.25 percentage points, we will not see major movements. But we have two other options that are not so probable, but still on the table. If we will see the zero increase, it will be a huge catalyst for the entire market to go higher, because in this case a lot of companies will cost more according to their DCF model. And on the other hand, if the interest rates will be increased by 0.5 percentage point in order to solve the inflation problem, definitely it will be a major bearish pressure on the market, and we might see even lower price targets. So, and let's continue with the technical analysis, but before we dive deep right here, please subscribe to my channel, hit notification bell and hit the like button. This helps me a lot. So guys, a lot of people asked me recently, is it time to buy FRC stock? Because it had a quite harsh sell-off. Let me show to you from this point. It has a quite harsh sell-off for more than 90% in a matter of just a couple of weeks. And definitely this movement to the downside should be unloaded, but in my opinion it is not the time. And why I think so? First of all, I have to say that let me show you on a 5 minutes time frame, and from the technical standpoint this breakout, and let me show you that I made my previous video at this very point. I've told you that we should retest this range of support, that might be a very strong range of support, but eventually we broke it with the last session. Then we had a bounce out of $11.54 mark, and we retested this range as the range of resistance. Then we had this rollover, and right now we are again at the bottom of this price action, and we have this movement to the downside out of the range of resistance. And in my opinion it is again quite bearish sign, and I still stand on my position that we might hit even lower price targets, and probably it will be again as I mentioned in my previous video, the price point of around $10. So what other banks might be beneficial if you want to enter your position? I highly recommend you not to enter First Republic Bank long position, because it is still extremely risky. But on my previous video I've told you that USB, US Bancorp, might be quite interesting in the medium-term perspective. Let me show it to you more thoroughly, because it also lost a substantial amount of its value, and it formed a proper bullish divergence. On top of that, Trust Financial Bank also has quite similar price action, but in my opinion it still has room to go lower, and you can accumulate your position all the way down in order to ladder your buys down and have the most attractive average price. And the third bank that might be again one of the biggest and safest play is Wells Fargo. And let me show you that it also lost, let me show you from this point, it also lost about 20% of its value, and it formed a proper bullish divergence. And this means somewhere here we might see a bounce to the upside, and depending on the lower point, on the point where it will have a trend reversal, it might be up to 6% or about 10.7% of potential profit in a matter of just several sessions. So, I think from the technical standpoint that's it for now. If you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel with notification bell. And see you guys and girls next time. Bye!
I got the cash in the bag.